I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. Our last connections on the Rough Draft Diaries came from Tammy Holder, the CEO of Leading Families Home and the Beach House Family Shelter. She was on the program about 2 weeks ago, and her connections consisted of another homeless shelter, a Home Depot employee, and an electrician. And out of those choices, I thought for a minute, and I decided to take the path less traveled.
My name is Dana Hostetler. I am the current president of Romanoff Electric and also the vice president of CRT, our low voltage division.
So Dana is more than just an electrician. He's the president of the company, but he did start out as an electrician. And since I'm not aware of how one does that, I thought, well, that's a good place to start.
I always liked working with my hands, and I always liked electrical things like that, magnets, things like that. Anything that can make things work. And just by chance, I ended up down at the apprenticeship, and I applied. And it took me a couple years to get in, and was pretty terrified. I went to an extremely large project, and didn't know anything. Didn't know the parts, the pieces, the materials, nothing. But slowly but surely, I worked my way up and just paid attention to the people that were around me and tried to learn as much as I could.
The reason I consider Dana's interview to be the path less traveled is because it rarely happens. Electricians being interviewed on the show, that is. Plumbers, electricians, carpenters, they're rarely nominated to be on the program. We've even had multiple guests in the past who have voiced their motivations in steering their career clear of blue-collar work. And this doesn't come as a great surprise to Dana.
When I applied for the apprenticeship, I think there was about 2,000 guys that were trying to get in. That was in the 90s. And now, we're lucky to have maybe a couple hundred. And I think kind of what happens is, and even I did it with my daughter, it's like we want to push them to college, which is a great thing to do. But, as far as the skilled trades, whether you're an electrician, plumber, carpenter, or anything like that, once you have that trade, nobody can ever take that away from you. And I don't think the high schools do a great job of saying, hey, you know what, there's other options than college. We've done work for customers, and and when you go in there and your customer has an issue and you can get in there and fix it, that's what makes it worth it. We work when it's very hot, we work when it's very cold, it's dirty, but what really makes it worth it is when that customer owner or even a homeowner, you fix that issue for them, and they're just extremely happy that you're able to do it. Because everybody thinks they can do something until they actually get into it. And then they figure out that they maybe not know as much as they do.
The other thing that Dana does know that others may not be aware of is the amount of creativity and imagination that is needed within an electrician's day-to-day.
Every day at work is something different. When we go to a job, we might one day have to put in light fixtures, and the next day we might have to run conduits in the pathways to feed panels. Your foreman might say, hey, I need you to get this conduit from here to there. And then it's really up to the individual which way he's going to go, and you can kind of sit back and, I guess look at it in your mind, and you're always building things, you're always bolting things together. And then when you get it done, I know my wife and daughter are tired of it, but there's many buildings I've gone into, and I say, hey, look, there's that conduit rack that I put in, and I've been telling them that for 20 years, and it's the same building every time, but, we're all extremely proud, because, once we're done, we have kind of a monument of what we did, and that's, the creativity is a lot of the driving force with a lot of the guys that are in the trades.
I love that idea, that a conduit rack can be a monument to a person's work. It's quite the romantic way to think about installing equipment. It's a description I've never really thought of before, and again, Dana is not surprised. He thinks his industry needs to start thinking of new ways to describe and share their careers if they want to appeal to a new generation.
I think as an industry, I'm saying all the skilled trades, we probably missed a step a few years ago, but we've had quite a few conversations, and that's not just the electricians, but it's the pipe fitters and stuff. We've talked and said, hey, this is what we need to do, and we've really put like a full court press out there to the students, to trade shows and things like that, and kind of reintroducing ourselves to those kids. And saying, hey, you know what, there's another option there. And we have school to work programs now where if you're a 16-year-old in high school that you can go work for a week on job sites and things like that. There's different programs that we're trying to do to get these kids introduced to the apprenticeship. And quite honestly, the last couple of years it's worked because we've gotten great candidates, good guys and girls, and really it's a real positive I guess, influence or positive thing to our trade, to getting some of these younger people involved.
So Dana feels the future is looking positive for his career, first and foremost, but also for his career in connection with his hometown, the city of Toledo.
What I like about Toledo is, we're a smaller town, but within construction and within community, we're extremely small. I mean, it's not hard for you to pick up the phone and call somebody else within the trade and say, hey, I got a friend that needs this, or I know a neighbor or something like that needs this. And as far as the communication goes, the camaraderie, and everybody's connected in one way or the other. It's a very small community, but I think everybody's always willing to help one way or the other.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries. Dana's choices for the next episode of the Rough Draft Diaries include...
My one would be Crawford Strunk. My other one would be Joe Gross. I think my other one would be Tim Meyer.
You'll have to tune in next time to find out who I pick, again on the Rough Draft Diaries.